Madison or Metro Kia of Madison.com.
You got the chill.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
This is Rutledge and Hamilton with Jim Rutledge and Matt Hamilton.
People like me.
That's some booty, Jim.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN.
Everyone is so mean to me.
I am Jim Rutledge.
You never go full Rutledge. Send them my way. Ask for forgiveness.
Yes.
Next time, just say, Jim yelled at me, made me do it.
There is not a lot of things more satisfying than deep breaths and just kind of let things go. That's how I approach scheduling with Matt Hamilton. I want to yell things. I want to just be upset.
One, it sounds like maybe you have some anger issues. But
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio with double 2024 National Curling Champion Matt Hamilton, here's Jim Rutledge.
Wrong. No Rutledge today. The hall monitor gets the afternoon drive. How about this? They gave me the wheels, Matt Hamilton.
Just don't crash us.
No promises. Rutledge
Jesse,
and
take the
Hamilton.
wheel.
Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. When the mountains are blue, Matt Hamilton, you know what to do.
And that's Crush, the Coors Light.
No matter what continent you're on for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely mountains in Switzerland, so I'm sure they'll be blue. And if I can find myself a Coors Light, you better believe I'm going to have some.
We're going to have to spend one segment at some point today on a very busy show just telling everybody what's happening the rest of this week. Because it's a very confusing operation being run around here from 4 to 6 the rest of this week. The fact that I'm here is already saying something. My name's Jesse Delson, normally the producer of Wildy and Tausch. Today I step in to host this fine show. Jim Rutledge has the week off. Much deserved with the family on vacation this week, spring break.
Gatlinburg.
Can't wait to hear all about it. The Wisconsin Dells of the Southeast.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, no idea. I was like, when Jim told me, I was like, what the heck is in Gatlinburg?
The fact that Jim's going to Gatlinburg, when he made me aware that he was going to Gatlinburg, it made me think. We've been to Tennessee 3 times in the last 5 years, and every time we've gone, we've said, "Oh, that was kind of fun. Let's never go back." No, we don't need to go do the Smoky Mountains again.
Okay.
And we did the first one, and then we did another one because we had some friends that lived down in that area. We went to Nashville and all that. Now we've been invited for another one to go. Our friends moved into a house that's on this beautiful lake within this mountainous area near the Smoky Mountain. They got this whole private thing going on. We're like, okay, this sounds like it'd be a ton of fun.
Right.
But we keep getting dragged back to the Smoky Mountains. We don't there's other places to explore in the world. We don't need to go there anymore.
That's fair. I mean, I could go to Tennessee, and Nashville specifically, whenever. I love Nashville. That place is fun.
Crack open a Coors Light while you're there. Again, my name's Jesse Delson. He's the Olympic gold medalist, Matt Hamilton. Primetime Wollersheim running the show, Ryan Wollersheim. Wooly, how we doing on this Monday afternoon?
Oh, we're doing fantastic. We don't have Jim Rutledge driving the bus, but, hey, we make do without him most times.
Don't lie, Wooly. We're not doing fantastic. We're not doing fantastic.
That's true.
I don't know about you guys. Maybe it's the rain. I'm irritated today. I didn't get enough sleep over the whole weekend. I was in Iowa losing a ton of money on the NCAA tournament all weekend long. 4th year in a row, we've gone by far our least successful operation in Dubuque, Iowa, betting all the NCAA tournament opening weekend games. Very frustrating series of events this week. I lost 4 different bets on Kentucky alone. We were live betting the game. They started 15.5. I'll bet Kentucky to cover 15.5 on Oakland. Then they're losing midway through the first half. Okay, it's down to 7.5. Let's bet them again.
Right.
They're going to come back. They score 100 points every game. Kentucky's offense has been amazing this year. They're losing at halftime. They're going to win the game. Let's bet them just to win the game. They're losing with 10 minutes left. They're going to come back. They can't possibly. They lose to Oakland. Not even from California, Oakland. Unreal. Similar set of events on Friday night, watching the Wisconsin Badgers and the James Madison Dukes. Matt, we should always probably preface by asking you, did you watch the game?
Yes, I went to a local McFarland dive bar establishment, one of my favorites to go to, not only because it's walkable from my house, which was important.
That is always important, especially for that game on Friday night.
It was very important for that game because I did find myself walking home. But yeah, it was sad. It was tough to watch. And the problem, my least favorite part about the night was after the first 3 minutes of that game, I knew exactly how it was going to go. I could have just gone home and gone to bed.
They had 5 points midway through the first half.
They were they literally looked like they were getting manhandled out there.
They couldn't stay on their feet. They kept falling as they were trying to drive it. That was one of the most pathetic first halves of basketball I've seen in a long time. And if not for Tausch's guy, Max Klesmit, they would have been buried in that game. The fact that they were within single digits in the second half for any stretch was significant. 844-770-3776 is the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. That's your way to get into the show with us today. Ham, bone, and jelly, as Wildy and Tausch like to call us. I don't know what Jim likes to call me. Probably something meaner than that. Jesse Nelson, Matt Hamilton. Exactly. 844-770-3776. This is your place to vent on the Wisconsin Badgers basketball program following the embarrassing loss, the sad loss, the disappointing loss to James Madison on Friday night. 844-770-3776. Matt Hamilton, as we talk about the Badgers.
Well, I was just going to offer out, if you want to be a little more positive instead of vent, and you just want to maybe suggest a fun place to watch the game for me, I will take that, because as much as I want to commiserate with you about this, I also wouldn't mind some good news. So if you've got a favorite spot to watch a game, even if it's a loss and it's still going to be a good time, I would love to hear that suggestion as well.
Congratulate the fellas on a heck of a year. What a run the 2023-24 season was for our Wisconsin men's basketball program.
Coaster.
A lot of ups, the downs mostly came near the end of the year. But
then we even got that nice little bump during the Big Ten tournament. I thought we were going to win the Big Ten tournament there for a little bit, especially after we quit Purdue. I was like, this is looking good. We got to take Illinois. We're on an uptick. We're playing our best basketball near March. I thought maybe we were actually going to have a pretty decent shot at doing something fun.
I hadn't truly thought about it this way, Matt, until you just said that. But this season of Wisconsin men's basketball, I think, shows why there is such uncertainty from fans on what we want to see the program do moving forward. Because instantly Friday night, Wisconsin loses that game, and we're up in Iowa till 1:30 in the morning on Friday night, walking around town, hitting the dive bars on the way back to the Airbnb. And I get home, and I always scroll Twitter before I go to bed. And I'm seeing all the tweets. Time for Gard to go. Oh, this is what you get when you keep Greg Gard in place. And I think my gut reaction is that's not what happened. The team poorly executed across the board. James Madison didn't even play that well of a game, but they just dominated because Wisconsin executed so poorly. The best players of the season, the best players you look to in those go-to situations, came up way short on Friday night in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And then I thought about it a little bit more as I got to bed and woke up the next day, and I watched Iowa State and TJ Otzelberger with all those Wisconsin recruits leading Iowa State to another Sweet 16. And I watched some of these other schools from around the country that are in a position to be what we have grown to know the Wisconsin men's basketball program to be. And I started thinking to myself, okay, well, making the Sweet 16.
What exactly is that?
Sweet 16s and a top 4 finish in the Big Ten, the Bo Ryan standard. You guys have talked about that on this show.
It's just been so long since the Bo Ryan standard was actually a thing.
I also wonder what happened to make more free throws than the other team attempted.
16?
2017.
The 16-17 season?
In 2017, the Zach Showalter belt against Florida with Chris Chiozza hitting the game-winning buzzer beater in overtime. That is the last time Wisconsin played in the second weekend of the NCAA tournament.
So that is where I'm going to say this is the new standard for Wisconsin basketball. Don't get to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. The last time – actually, I shouldn't say that because we did get to the finals of the NIT last year, which is pretty impressive.
Let's go.
But like realistically, in the big dance for like you just threw out there 7 years, we're losers. We're first weekend losers.
And in many of those situations, the Badgers were the better seed, losing these games to Iowa State at Fiserv Forum a couple of years ago with Johnny Davis. This year to James Madison. You could sprinkle in a couple other opportunities, too, that went by the wayside. I do wonder where people stand on the state of the Wisconsin basketball program today. 844-770-3776. Look, someone called in already. Matt, we're doing great. Tim in Madison. You're first up today on Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. Jesse and Hambone today. Tim, how you feeling about the state of the Badger basketball program?
Well, I hate to be that guy, but if you guys watch the game again, you'll notice, and my brother, who's a high school umpire in the state of Wisconsin, his first thing he said when he talked to me was 67% of the time that the Badgers had the ball, they were being hand-checked. And I hate to be that guy to point out refs, but 67% of the time they were getting hand-checked. And our team just isn't as physical as our old teams. So, well, you have to look it around. Duke absolutely manhandled them because they had the guys big enough to do it. Wisconsin can't do that. So that's our state. We're getting pushed around we were going to push around like crazy.
Yeah.
So, wait a minute, Tim. So your brother, I want to make sure I'm citing this correctly when we bring this up. Your brother, who is a high school umpire or basketball referee?
He's an umpire and a referee. Sorry. I'm a baseball player, so I always say umpire.
Gotcha.
My brother, he's a high school boys basketball referee in the state of Wisconsin. He told me not to say his name because he might.
Okay, according to Tim's brother.
He actually said it because it bothered him so much that Gard, he said, if I would have been the coach, I would have been thrown out in the first minute. I would have been teed up so fast with watching them hand check every time down the court. When they were blowing us out in the beginning, he said 67% of Wisconsin's possession time, their guys were getting hand checked, sometimes by two hands.
Well,
and I went back and looked at it. You just go watch it. They were getting absolutely manhandled and hand checked the whole first half.
James Madison didn't play that good of a game offensively either, though, Tim. Just because they might have been hand-checking Wisconsin could have given that right back, or they were still handling James. 5 points in 10 minutes can't be chalked up to hand-checking, Tim.
Hey, but he makes a good point. Yeah, they were so in our heads because of there's something to be said when the other team is doing something that you perceive as a foul or bad sportsmanship or, not code, that can get in someone's head, especially offensively. And when you're not a physical team and you're getting beat that way mentally and physically, it makes real tough sledding on the offensive side of the ball. I can see how this was more of a mind game. This is the James Madison Jedi mind trick, not necessarily we're following intentionally or doing anything like that. They were getting in the heads of the Badgers, and they lived there rent-free for the next two halves.
Timmy, you still there with us?
Yeah, I am. Go look at Chucky Hepburn's first two fouls were both called for him hand-checking back. He got called twice on in the first half for hand-checking, which was exactly what they were doing to him. But it was completely in his head.
All right.
In the second half, for sure.
Tim, as much as I would love to say that the officials cost the Badgers that game, I don't know if I can join you on that train. But I will ask you this question before you go. What do you think of Greg Gard? What do you think of Greg Gard leading the program the rest of the way here?
I think McIntosh knows what he's going to do, and he's going to get rid of him because we're stagnant. We're doing nothing. All of our top recruits are leaving. Here we go again with Knipple, or is it Knipple in Milwaukee? Here we go, another top 10 recruit. Doesn't going to Duke to be a backup when he could be the starter at Madison.
That's Con Knipple from Wisconsin Lutheran, state champion.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, Tim, thanks for the call. Appreciate you. 844-770-3776.
Forgot to ask him where he watched the game.
I did forget to ask him that.
That's all right. I'll get the next one. I won't forget.
Must have been watching it in his brother's basement with the projector screen, calling all the hand checks.
Here, and I don't think he was necessarily calling to say that the refs cost him the game, but the refs were definitely I kind of thought this too. They looked like they were letting him play, and James Madison was willing to push that envelope, and the Badgers were like, "That's not how it's done. We're not going to do that. We're not." They didn't also try and push that envelope and find where that line was, where the refs were going to call something. And when you get physically manhandled like that, it's more than just them playing tougher defense. It really turns into a mental game. And if you can't get past that, that's how you go on that big scoring slump, 5 points in the first half of the first half. That's really bad, but this team, they're more talented than that. There's more to it, and I think it's the mental game. I think they got absolutely outplayed mentally and physically, and that's why it translated so strongly on the scoreboard.
For a team that got manhandled by Zach Edey in the Big Ten tournament semifinal and the physicality that Illinois displayed in that game in Minneapolis the week prior, less than a week prior,
It's a different kind of physicality.
It is a different kind of physicality, but I don't think you can look at it and say Wisconsin was totally thrown off because they weren't calling hand checks on James Madison, the Sun Belt champions, when Zach Edey is like throwing Badgers players to the ground and Tyler Wall's getting called for the foul as he's scraping his elbow along the baseline last week.
I totally agree with you, but again, it's a different type of manhandling. They were swarmed. It's like it's one thing to get for the other team to prove that they're stronger or bigger, like physically. That is one way to manhandle another team. We were the bigger team than James Madison, or at least it looked like it. They swarmed the Badgers. Every time a guy had the ball, they were right in their face. And if you got it in isolation, you had two guys on you, and you were scrambling just to get the ball away. Like, it was a different kind of manhandling. I think it has more to do with, like, really being overwhelmed and swarmed and not having any space. The Badgers against Illinois and Edey and Purdue, it's when they went into the paint, they really is when they got dominated physically. But out on the perimeter where they were able to move the ball, same old Badgers, business as usual. James Madison didn't let that happen.
Well, now it's starting to feel like same old Badgers, business as usual, losing on the opening weekend of the NCAA tournament. Sadly, I wish I wasn't saying that here today. I really thought Wisconsin and Marquette had a chance to meet in the Elite Eight. The way that these matchups lined up, I thought that had potential. Clearly, I was wrong about one of those two teams. 844-770-3776 is your chance to get into the show. That's the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line, 844-770-3776. Coming up next, we'll take more of your calls, anything you want to share, including where Matt can watch Marquette this weekend, apparently. Or, no, you're going to be in Switzerland this weekend.
I want to know your favorite place to watch a game. Like, where were you watching this Badger game? Obviously, you were going there for the vibes, hoping to watch a win. What's that spot?
Where were you cracking your Coors Light watching Wisconsin on Friday night? I was in Dubuque, Iowa. Matt was at a dive bar in McFarland. Where were you? And also your thoughts on the state of the Badgers program. Matt and I are going to talk about what we think the next 4 years of Wisconsin men's basketball can look like coming up next. But first, Matt, you're going to tell everybody about Revive Restoration.
That's right. The Badgers are not able to revive their season, but if you've got an issue with your home or business, Revive Restoration can help revive that for you. From things like fire damage, smoke damage, water damage. Maybe you need mold remediated like I do in my shed, or you've got some asbestos that you need to get rid of safely and efficiently. Revive Restoration has the team and the professionals to take care of that job quickly, efficiently, so you can get back to business as usual. One of my favorite parts about Revive is they have the 24-hour hotline on their website, revivepros.com. My friend Phil had flooding in his basement on a Sunday. It was cleaned up, torn down, dry, and ready to go. Get his life back on track by that next Tuesday. They can do the same for you. That's revivepros.com, or you can call Revive Restoration and tell them Jim and Matt sent you.
844-770-3776. Your thought on Wisconsin's loss to James Madison and the state of the program moving forward. Next on Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions, securing homes and businesses in the Madison area since 1987.
Step into nostalgia with the Miller High Life Dive Bar of the Week. Listen to Rutledge and Hamilton every Thursday, and we will let you know where you can enjoy $2 Miller High Lifes. To celebrate our love for dive bars, me and Matt are going to tell you about some of our favorites, featuring one extra special dive bar that will have $2 High Lifes on special for the week. Taste the champagne of beer in its natural environment. A delightfully different dive bar in Wisconsin, like the Nitty Gritty in Middleton, the Village Green, Riley Tavern, and Remington's Tavern.
Get 0% interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. I'm Gina Della from Pella. Pella's free in-home consultations make replacing or redesigning your windows and doors easy. We go beyond just measuring and handing you a quote by listening and educating you on all of your product options. And with DesignWorks, you can see what your home will look like before you buy. Order by March 31st to get 0% interest for up to 3 years. Set your free consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Experience virtual golf like never before at the Bogey Factory in Verona. From family-friendly mini-games to monthly tournaments, the Bogey Factory has it all. Enhance your swing with their state-of-the-art TrackMan technology, or play a full round on over 300 virtual courses. While you're there, enjoy their full kitchen and sports bar. Whether you're looking for a fun day out with family and friends, or a unique location for a corporate event, the Bogey Factory in Verona has you covered. For more information, visit thebogeyfactory.com. That's thebogeyfactory.com.
The area's best high school sports coverage is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania.
And after 4 overtimes, we finally figure out the first team in the Division I state final. 99-95 our score. Arrowhead Warhawks.
Zimbrick Honda's Prep Mania is also brought to you by Canopy Wealth Management, Pasquale's Cantina, UW Credit Union, Stoughton Trailers, the GRB Academy, and Stoughton Health.
Want to join the fastest growing home solar company in the nation and work in the fastest growing industry in the world? Everlight Solar has open positions in the Madison area and is expanding to Milwaukee. As a local company headquartered in Verona, Everlight Solar offers great opportunities to gain new skills and advance your career. Don't miss the chance to join the Everlight Solar team. Visit everlightsolar.com to apply today. Save money, save the planet, and start with Everlight Solar.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. I joined the Princeton Club because I was looking for a place I could invest in my health, and the environment and the community I have felt has made it so easy for me to incorporate it into my everyday life. It doesn't matter where you're at in your fitness journey because they have something to offer everyone. It also goes beyond fitness. From the moment you walk in the club to the moment you walk out, there is a togetherness felt throughout the members and staff that keeps you going for your better tomorrow. Don't wait any longer and get started on your fitness journey today at PrincetonClub.net. That's PrincetonClub.net.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
So tired trying to see from behind the red in my eyes. No better version of me I could pretend to be.
Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. No Rutledge today. Jesse Nelson and the Olympic gold medalist Matt Hamilton.
Hello.
Presented by Coors Light. When the mountains are blue, you know what to do, Matt Hamilton.
And that's Crush, a Coors Light.
No matter where you were watching, Wisconsin lose to James Madison on Friday night in the opening round of the tournament. 844-770-3776 is your way into the show. We're taking any thoughts you have on the state of the Wisconsin basketball program following another early exit in the NCAA tournament. 844-770-3776 is the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. Wooly, you say you got one on the text line for us. Let's get to it here.
Yeah, we got James in DeForest chiming in saying that he also watched the game at Parkside. Shout out Matt Hamilton. Matt, do you remember seeing James there at all?
I was a little, we were a couple pitchers of Coors Light deep.
Oh, no.
I'm sure
you getting up more shots than the Badgers basketball team?
It was pretty packed. Honestly, in the first half, I had more shots than the Badgers.
I bet.
In the first
wouldn't be hard.
10 minutes of the game, I had more shots than the Badgers.
Did you have more drinks in the first 10 minutes than the Badgers had points?
Take that for data.
Yes. I mean, I showed up early to make sure we got a spot, maybe get some food. So I was there at 7:15, ready to go. Yeah. So when the game started, I already had more points than the Badgers did.
That's amazing. 844-770-3776. We'll get more of your thoughts here in a moment. Jesse and Hambone today. I'm in for Jim. Wooley's running the show. Primetime Woolershine. Matt, I did want to ask this question, and I believe this will be our first poll question of the day on Twitter at Jim and Matt. If Greg Gard is the head coach of the Wisconsin Badgers for the next 4 years, do they make the Sweet 16? It's been 7 years
Right.
since they made their last Sweet 16.
If they do, I think it'd be a fluke. I'm going to say no.
Really?
I think they could fluke their way into it. You know, like you beat a team when you, again, I feel like the Badgers get a big benefit of the doubt when it comes to the ranking or like the seeding because they're a power conference, right?
Big Ten, grind of the Big Ten season.
Exactly. Like we're playing a team that had, what, 31 wins? 31-3 or 33-3.
Yeah, but James Madison didn't play anybody all
and
year.
I get that. But like you're playing a team that has like a true winning culture. It's very different when you're in the Big Ten. You get this benefit of the doubt, even though you had 11 losses.
So wait a minute. Are you saying Wisconsin doesn't have a winning culture anymore?
Well, I mean,
because I'd argue for the last 2 decades they have.
They obviously don't have a winning culture when it matters. They have under Bo Ryan, but under Greg Gard, it's been fine. It's definitely fallen off.
How do you weigh the NCAA tournament appearances where they've overachieved, like the year that they beat Villanova in the second round and advanced to that Sweet 16, the last time they were in the Sweet 16? That was still Greg Gard as the head coach.
Right, but doesn't that kind of feel like that was like the tailings of Bo Ryan's tutelage and everything like that? Like,
how do you factor in the COVID 2020 season where they were red hot heading into the later? They won the Big Ten regular season.
I mean, again, like we'll never know, and it's one of those like, yes, that was unfortunate. We were a good team that might have had a good shot at doing something, but what have you done for me lately? And the answer is a whole lot of bupkis.
Bupkis, says the Olympic gold medalist.
Honestly, it's great. It's like the Big Ten tournament. It would have been great to win that. But at the end of the day, the whole season comes down to March Madness. That's what it's all about, is seeing how far your team goes in the big tournament up against the best teams in the country from across the country. Like, this is college basketball at its finest, and that is when you want to perform. And the Badgers have not performed for 7 years in this time. And I don't think Greg Gard is the guy who, sure, he might be able to make a Sweet 16, but I don't have any faith in Greg Gard being able to, like, take it to a Final Four or win a championship. Like, there's a certain, some guys got it and some don't. And I'm not totally sure Greg Gard's got it.
844-770-3776. That's interesting to hear. I'll give you my answer to our poll question on Twitter at Jim and Matt here in a minute. But first, let's go to Curtis in Madison. 844-770-3776. Curtis.
Where'd you watch the game?
I was at home with my buddy and my son. We were watching in the basement, just hanging out, eating food, having a good time.
Coors Light's flowing?
I don't drink Coors Light. That's like dirty water to me.
Oh, whoa, Curtis. Whoa, Curtis.
But
do you know where
you
you
are?
are?
I'm sure he was having a good time no matter what you're doing. So what were your thoughts on the game?
I had spotted cow, so I was helping out with time.
Curtis,
honestly,
we gotta teach you a thing or two around here when we're done with this phone call, okay? We're gonna have to talk. We're gonna have to win you over here. Anyway, what'd you think of the game on Friday night?
I totally agree with what the gentleman before was saying, that, it's been a while. It seems like our teams in the season go up and down, We're really good or really bad, but we're never good at the right time, which is the tournament season. We are a Power 5 conference. Winning the Big Ten is great and all, but come on, national titles, that's what we want here at this school. We want to see a Final Four, a national title run. I'm not saying Gard is a bad coach, but sometimes the voice just goes flat in the locker room, and you need a new exuberance into the system and into the program to kind of get those recruits, because recruiting now is much more difficult, more business-like than it ever has been. And I think coaches are really going to have to learn to modify how they recruit kids, because it's turning into a money game. Well, it is a money game.
Yeah, all right, Curtis.
It has been, but now it's out there.
Thanks for the call, man. And I think Matt just said that he'll take you out on the boat this summer, and he'll bring a whole case of Coors Light, and you guys will share it and talk more Badger hoops this summer. 844-770-3776. All right, Matt, I want to talk about that recruiting aspect here for a second, too, because I don't think recruiting is necessarily the problem.
I'm holding your players.
I'm a little concerned, and I know our caller previously mentioned Con Knippel. Look, Tyler Hero, Con Knippel, Jalen Johnson, 5-star guys, like these great talents who have a chance to go play at Duke and Kentucky. I'm not going to fault anybody for going to do that. But it's the guys like Tyrese Halliburton. It's the guys like Zay Mitchell from Oshkosh North, who just announced his intent to go to Iowa State, just like Tyrese Halliburton over the weekend. It's guys like Jordan McCabe, like Marcus Damask. These guys. Tyrese Hunter is another Iowa State one who's now at Texas, and he was playing really well in the tournament. Good one, Wooly. There's so many in-state talented players who are not these high echelon, outstanding recruits, but are guys who would be great supplemental pieces and part of a great team. Like they're building at Iowa State. Like they're building around the country. Like Marcus Damask, what he's doing for Illinois. He had the first triple-double in the NCAA tournament forever. He's like the 10th guy that ever had a triple-double in the NCAA tournament. He played at Waupun. You couldn't get the guy from Waupun. Like, we all recognized he had talent. He was Mr. Basketball in the state of Wisconsin. He won a state championship as a freshman. We couldn't get that guy to come here.
Not locking down the borders.
I'm not asking for the guy from Oakland who hit all those threes over the weekend who didn't get recruited by anybody. And I'm not asking for the people that are getting recruited by Duke and Kentucky. I'm asking for everybody else. Can we seal off the border around the state of Wisconsin a little bit and bring in some of these guys that are clearly good basketball players that are leading teams on deep NCAA tournament runs? Can we keep them in-house instead of the pipeline to Lakeville North every year?
How do we do that? How is that? Obviously that's a partial Greg Gard issue, but there's got to be more to it than that. The school setting up NIL for these players, opportunity.
I don't know how much NIL has to play into it. I don't know.
It's gonna play a lot more into it than it used to.
But,
sure, these players have left, but now the landscape has changed. So that's where I'm like, is Greg Gard the guy who's going to be able to lead us in this NIL-driven college sports landscape? Like, this is college basketball in the NIL. This is year 2 of it. How do you keep these players coming in? Greg Gard did a pretty good job of bringing in recruits. I think we had Johnny Davis. We've had some good players.
Yeah, Johnny Davis was out still. Like anyone who says he can't recruit Wisconsin, he had a lottery pick from the state of Wisconsin. Come here, light it up, had a great season. Came up short in the NCAA tournament.
I mean, he got injured in the Big Ten.
He did, yeah.
So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt there.
Sure, that's fair.
A little bit, but
that's what makes this such a mystery about what's going to happen with Greg Gard moving forward and what's going to happen for Wisconsin basketball. Because every time that you can point at a success, you can point at a failure that balances it out. Every time you point at the failures,
1 success and 2 failures.
But every time you feel like it's time to rail on them, there's suddenly a burst of success. This season, very emblematic of what the tenure has been so far for Greg Gard as the head coach of Wisconsin.
Did we get a single seed at one point? Were we like in the top 10 in the country?
They were the 4th-ranked team in the country at one point this year.
Like, we were what? It was so crazy to start the first, month and a half of basketball like that, go through this second month and a half of absolute garbage basketball being played. Looked like this team had never played together before. And then to have, a pretty good run in the Big Ten tournament, thinking, maybe they finally did turn this around. And it's hard to know, where do you point that finger? To me, when it comes to team consistency, the only person you can look at is the coach. It's a consistency standpoint. If they started that good out of conference and then got into conference play and looked like they forgot how to play ball, I don't know if I'm blaming the kids for that.
844-770-3776. Let the record show, I blame the players for the execution on Friday night in Brooklyn. That was atrocious, and that can't be all coaching.
No,
that had to have been everybody had a bad night. Maybe they had a bad night of sleep at the hotel or something. I don't know what happened. That was just awful.
They were in New York. I wouldn't be surprised if they missed curfew.
844-770-3776. We have an absolutely loaded show, so we cannot miss curfew here today, segment by segment. Betting with Brust, Ben Brust, scheduled to appear coming up at 5:15 here this afternoon. Crosstalk with the Great Dane Huddle fellas out in Fitchburg, going to come up at 5:45. Coming up next, we're going to get to what Matt missed, as we continue to also take your thoughts on the state of the Wisconsin basketball program. 844-770-3776. As we get to break, let's hear from our good friend Jim Rutledge, usually the host here of Rutledge and Hamilton, telling us all about Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
Go to Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison. It's March. Your bracket's probably busted. So get back on a winning streak and go to Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison. That's where winners go. Over $9 million in jackpots so far this year. Friday, March 29th. Prizes from 6 to 9:30. 24 winners will select a luggage case to win up to $2,000 cash. Take that money on vacation, but here's the better part. At 10 o'clock p.m. on the 29th, one guest will win a $20,000 vacation. So what are you waiting for? Go to Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison and go be a winner.
This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. Watch every show live and for free on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Goodman's Jewelers has been providing sparkle to Madison since 1933. That's a lot of great memories. John Hayes for Goodman's Jewelers. We've been caring for generations of customers, and during that time our strengths have been trust, service, and selection. Those traits are who we are, and that will never change. Goodman's Jewelers, a destination worth reaching. 220 State Street, goodmansjewelers.com.
The best is at Goodman's.
It's Chevy truck season, and there's no better time to do what you do best. No better time to get the job done in a Chevy Silverado with best-in-class standard torque and a TurboMax engine with a 5-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty that outlasts both Ford and Ram. So kick off whatever your thing is season right, because it all starts with a Chevy truck.
See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Based on latest competitive data, excludes other GM vehicles, whichever comes first. See dealer for limited warranty details based on Ford and Ram 5-year, 60,000-mile warranty on gasoline engines.
Listen to Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin on 100.5 ESPN.
I don't know if I'm totally on board in just living in someone else's house for a week or getting a ride from some random person in their car.
But you're fine with people storming a court and trampling people. That's where you're just so goofy to me.
Wilde and Tausch, weekdays 9 to noon on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by Hallman Lindsay Paints, Coors Light, Made to Chill, and American Family Insurance.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
When you're having computer problems, you need a company you trust to get things working again, quickly and affordably. Madison Computer Works has been doing that for business and residential customers for decades. Our computer care plans take away the hassle of being without your computer or needing to bring it in for repair. Starting at only $10 a month, our local and friendly techs provide remote help and can fix most problems in just minutes. Call 608-231-8000 and sign up today. Madison Computer Works, computers that work for you.
The biggest names in the basketball world.
Dame Dollar Lillard.
Having fun and honest conversations.
He puts it in the shoe, right? And sets the tone for brothers and sisters and family.
Every week, Thanasis Adetokounmpo sits down with special guests on Thanalysis Show.
Fantastic.
Find Thanalysis Show on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And on YouTube by searching Thanalysis Show.
Welcome back to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions.
Yeah. I used to be down.
Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. In for Jim Rutledge, I'm the hall monitor, Jesse Nelson. On a hall monitor Monday, I saw it was penned here on Rutledge and Hamilton. Please don't make that a regular thing. The Olympic gold medalist, Matt Hamilton. Show's presented by Coors. Sorry, I stepped over. We haven't done this in a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Show is presented by Coors Light. When the mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's crush a Coors Light. Listeners, a Coors Light.
Heck yeah. Primetime Wollersheim running the show, and I'm excited for the first time to be part of this. Let's find out what Matt missed.
context is important.
Oh, man.
Except when you're an Olympic gold medalist.
Honestly, I have no idea who it is. Here we go, yo. Obviously, he's talking about maybe.
It's time for What Matt Missed on Rutledge and Hamilton. Presented by Leinenkugel's. Flavor the moment.
Yeah, Matt Hamilton, we know you were ripping shots at Parkside Bar out there with James and DeForest on Friday, so I'm sure there's a lot else you missed this past weekend.
We know that. I'm not sure Matt knows that based on what I've heard about Friday night.
Yeah, honestly, if James wasn't here, I'm not sure we'd be able to get that information. But,
yeah, I just knew I was at a bar in McFarland.
Watching a great basketball game.
Yeah.
All right, well, speaking of great basketball, there was another player who stole the headlines this weekend, and he had a funny clip of what his teammate said to him after big upset in the first round.
If you could have been at our team, Neil, after the game against Kentucky, our players were making so much fun of Jack because somebody had tweeted out that all these Kentucky players are going to be in the NBA next year and he's going to be selling insurance. So they were singing the Like a Good Neighbor song to him. I mean, it was crazy.
Matt, you recognize who that might be at all?
Who that was?
Yeah, who do you think that was talking about?
Was it the head coach of Kentucky?
Kentucky? John Calipari?
You think that was John
That was
Calipari?
John Calipari, yeah.
I don't think he was in such good spirits, Matt.
That's a good point. I have no idea who that was.
It was the head coach from Oakland University, which, do you know the player who we're referencing right now?
No, but I do know he only took like 8 2-point shots all season.
Okay, well.
And he was just, what he had 10 3-pointers in that game?
So Matt was clearly on Twitter this weekend. I'm not sure if he was watching the number 14 seed Oakland Golden Grizzlies take down the number 3 seed Kentucky Wildcats, but that was Jack Golke. And you are correct. He took 8 2-pointers all season, I believe. He made 321 3-pointers over the course of the season for Oakland University.
Wow.
And then he made 10 of 23s against Kentucky in the first round upset. Went on to get 6 more in Oakland's loss to, who'd they lose to again, Jesse? Second round?
NC State in overtime.
Lost to NC. He hit 6 3-pointers in that game. But either way, sets the record for most 3-pointers through the first 2 weekends of an NCAA tournament in history.
Do you know where he went to high school, Matt?
Wisconsin. Somewhere.
That is all right. Wisconsin High School. Yeah, there it is.
Nina. You went to Nina.
Rockets.
Right colors. Pewaukee.
Another
basketball powerhouse.
Yeah. Yes. He was a very under-heralded player. He played at Hillsborough College for 4 years and transferred to Oakland this past year.
All right, last
one.
one.
Was his 5th year?
He's 24. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, he's been around.
My last follow-up for Matt. In what state is Oakland University located?
This is a tough one.
Honestly, when I saw Oakland, I assumed it was Oakland, California. So I'm going to take a shot.
It's not California. It's one of the other 49.
Okay. I'll take a shot and say Oakland, Pennsylvania.
Nope. The place where it's from is not called Oakland. It's from a completely different city.
I have no idea then.
It's Detroit.
Detroit.
Yes.
Get out.
Yeah. Michigan.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
One would never guess. All right, but
Why
Matt,
is there a school called Oakland in Michigan?
Well, there's probably I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
John Oakland probably started the school. I got
Probably.
it.
Why is there
All
a
right.
school called Oregon in Wisconsin?
Oh, hey.
I mean, that's what, yeah, okay.
All right, Matt, why don't you guess who this is talking about the star player on his team when asked by reporters about people questioning about whether he's actually that good?
Yeah, they just shouldn't cover basketball. I just think everybody should, take tests on their knowledge of what they're doing. I think all coaches should take a test so they understand refereeing. And I think all referees should take a test so they understand coaching. And I think all journalists should have to take a basketball quiz or a test, or anybody that tweets, they should have to be able to do it. And if they say something so moronic as that, then they should have to have a probationary status where they can't tweet for 3 months. I think it'll help like society, just try to knock out the fools, so they don't have to, meet at the local Walmart and say things that don't make any sense.
Okay. All right, Matt. Who'd you think that was, and what player do you think he's defending there?
I have no idea who that was.
All right, I'll give you another hint here. It's a player who's often criticized for some of his natural physical gifts being the real reason he's effective on the court. Big Ten player.
Edey?
Yeah, it is about Zach Edey. So,
Purdue's head coach?
Yeah,
What if I told you?
I was gonna say, they're still in it. That guy sounded salty, like they just lost.
Well, the reporter had asked him, how do you respond to some people saying that Zach Edey is only good because of his size and physical skill set, not because of his actual true basketball acumen or talent? So he was really just defending his guy.
You're right.
How would you do, Matt, if we gave you a basketball quiz biannually for you to take to just make sure you're not being moronic talking on Rutledge and Hamilton? Matt Painter's words there.
Based on that last quote, I'd be on a 3-month suspension or probationary period, not allowed to talk about basketball at all, I'm pretty sure.
Well, you're about to go on a 2-week probationary period, so that's, I mean, kind of does the
if you
same
add
thing.
it all up, we do kind of implement that. Yeah,
All right.
Exactly.
All right, we're speaking of probation and speaking of lawsuits. Matt, who did you think this is talking about a possible story coming out about him in the coming weeks?
But you see, reporters who give a megaphone to a one-sided, embellished version of things aren't trying to tell the truth. They're trying to sell newspapers and feed the click machine. This is exactly why people don't trust journalists and the media anymore. I'm fed up. I've hired the best defamation law firm in the country.
Okay.
And I will sue the Washington Post if they publish a false story about me.
Matt, who is that with a scathing response to the Washington Post?
Again, I am at a loss. I have no idea.
All
who
right,
that
so
is.
That was actually Shohei Ohtani's interpreter.
Correct. Well done, Jesse. So it's on the other side of the NCAA, the women's tournament here. So it's a head coach from that side in women's college basketball.
Yeah.
How many women's college basketball coaches do you know? Can you name one?
No.
You can't name a single. I think there is one. You're just not remembering right now.
I don't know. Sue Bird.
LSU. She's not a coach.
I know. That's literally one of the few women's basketball players that I thought maybe was retired.
If we gave you long enough, would you come up with Caitlin Clark?
Oh, no, I mean,
Yeah,
she's
there
a
you go.
player. Like, I'm aware.
Well, so is Sue Bird.
Well, yeah, but he said coach. I knew Caitlin
All
Clark
right,
is
all right.
not a coach.
All right, so
Sue Bird no longer plays ball. Maybe she went back to coach.
Matt, if I said LSU's head coach, that any bells? Wears
No.
a lot of extravagant
No, I
outfits.
did see the Gucci, like, full-on
There
Gucci
you go.
sweater outfit. that she was wearing.
So her
I
name,
know of her, but I have no idea who.
her name,
no.
the notorious Kim Mulkey is her name.
She is a great villain for college athletics.
She's an incredible soundbite as well, as you can see.
Yeah, no doubt. There was some venom in that one.
Oh, there's venom in just about everything she says. But yes, there's apparently the Washington Post is working on a feature story about her. They've been working on it for a couple years, and it's apparently even like they've contacted some of her former players without telling her before. Some of the players let her know. So that she wasn't given enough time to respond to the story 2 days before their first round game. So she took 4 minutes out of her press conference before they played on Sunday to respond and lash out against Washington Post. Call them out.
Well, good for her, carving out time for the people.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, the only thing that I saw in response to that, a bunch of people were quote tweeting it, saying, "You know what this reminds me of?" And it was an SNL skit with Melissa McCarthy as a ruthless women's basketball coach, where she's like shooting a t-shirt gun at the players hiding in the corner of the bleachers and making them come over and like serve her lunch during. And it's like practice footage of all this.
Right.
It was so funny. It's like this is what did the Washington Post have on Kim Mulkey?
I mean, all I know is when that article comes out, I'm paying the $1 subscription for the month to read that Washington Post article. All right, Matt Hamilton, last one here for you. Getting out of basketball with this one, but that's all I'll tell you.
We got to get you on the board here, Matt.
See if you can put the pieces together with this
Wait,
one.
I nailed it with the first one. I didn't know the name or.
Yeah,
I
nailed
named
it.
it.
Nailed
Good
it.
when you're trying to identify something.
All right.
crushed it.
All right, here you go, Matt.
Really interesting because everybody's always trying to figure out, especially at the top of the draft, what the other teams are doing. When I've had conversations here with executives for other teams who know Adam Peters well, know the situation well, the most popular answer for what they do at number 2 is J.J. McCarthy. So a lot of drama still to come.
Just like
coming
Mac.
up.
Matt, who do you think that's about? I won't ask you who said it because it's an NFL reporter, but what team are they talking about there? Number 2, J.J. McCarthy in the draft. Don't look at your notes.
Isn't the second pick the Washington Commanders?
That is correct.
Yeah!
Well done.
I almost went with New England, but they're 3, right?
Yeah.
They're number 3, yes.
Okay. Yeah, see, I'm on the board, baby.
But does that shock you at all? The fact that the Commanders might actually potentially be considering J.J. McCarthy with the 2nd overall pick? That was Tom Pelissero of NFL
I
Network.
don't
by
know
the
why
way.
they wouldn't take They wouldn't take Caleb Williams when the Bears go out and take Marvin Harrison Jr., their first pick overall, and try and run it with, what's his name? Who's the backup?
What is that guy's name?
We never needed Jim
Bagent.
Yeah.
They'll find a way. The Bears are going to find a way to screw it up. Believe me.
All right, well, if the Commanders take J.J. McCarthy overall, then they also found a way to screw it up.
Let me warn you guys, this is the time of the year between free agency, which has now calmed, and the draft in about a month. It's blowing smoke season, where we're going to hear all kinds of rumors now, especially with all these quarterbacks and the teams that need them at the top of the draft.
This is what teams want, right?
They're going to leak rumors.
They're going to leak rumors because they don't want you to know who their guy is.
Everybody wants to bolster trade value to try to get up to the top of the draft. That's the time of the year that we're in right now, and Pelissero with the first little nugget there.
And Matt,
plenty more to come.
No matter what time of the year it is, you're always enjoying a good Lionies, isn't that right?
That is absolutely right. And right now, I know it feels kind of like winter again, but I am giving them spring and summer vibes with that Leinenkugels Juicy Peach or the Leinenkugels Summer Shandy. They have the grapefruit shandy again. It is back. If that doesn't scream summer, I don't know what does. But the best part about Leinenkugels is they've got a flavor for every moment, whether it's that lakeside cherry, maybe you're more a Honey Weiss classic beer person to keep the fruit on the side. You know what I'm saying? They've got a flavor for you. They've got ambers, they've got dark beers, they've got light beers, and they've got those fruity, delicious summer beers that I love so very much. So whether you're looking for a great beer to enjoy out on the lake or a beer that you can enjoy inside that might make you feel like you're out on the lake, Leinenkugels has the flavor for any moment. Check out Leinenkugels wherever you get delicious beer. And remember, you got to be 21 years or older to enjoy.
I had my first summer shandy of the year, Saturday afternoon. We were outside at a sports bar in Iowa. They had a big screen up with the game on in the afternoon. Sun was beaming down on us Saturday. After the snow was down on Friday, it was beautiful Saturday afternoon. Wasn't a lot of room in the bar we were at. Went out to the courtyard, had the whole place to ourselves. Drinking a summer shandy. Life was good.
Doesn't get much better than that.
844-770-3776. Jesse Nelson, Matt Hamilton today on Rutledge and Hamilton. Continuing to review your thoughts on the state of Wisconsin men's basketball, including our poll question on Twitter at Jim and Matt. We'll check the early returns on the poll question coming up here in just a few moments. It's Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light.
This is Rutledge and Hamilton with Jim Rutledge and two-time 2024 National Curling Champion Matt Hamilton on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand. Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
This Badger Minute brought to you by Starion Bank with 3 Madison area locations in Middleton, Sun Prairie, and Monona. Starion Bank is here investing in your community. Start your experience by going to starionbank.com. Member FDIC. Following a disappointing end to the Wisconsin men's basketball team's season on Friday night, the 12th-seeded James Madison in the NCAA tournament, fan favorite sophomore Connor Essegian announced Sunday on social media that he intends to enter the transfer portal. During Essegian's freshman season in 2022-2023, he started 19 games and played over 27 minutes on average per night. During his sophomore campaign, that jumped to 0 games started and only 7 minutes per game. Essegian did not see any playing time in the final 3 games of the Badgers season.
Get no interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Don't wait. You have to order by March 31st. Visit PellaWI.com.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
Big trucks can be intimidating. If you've been seriously injured in a truck crash, call Gruber Law Offices today. Trucking law can be extremely complicated. You don't want to take on the insurance company alone. Gruber Law Offices has the experience, the resources, and of course, the results. We know truck law. We know the rules and regulations. We know what it takes to win. Call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it yourself at 2 convenient Madison locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. Honda certified technicians handle it all. You can even get flexible payment options. Fix your car now and pay later. Apply online to see your options in seconds with no hard credit check. Make your service appointment online at ZimbrickHonda.com. Zimbrick Honda Service Center on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Get your team together. Softball is back for 2024. Jesse Nelson here. Registration for Madison School and Community Recreation's Adult Summer Softball Leagues is now open. Men's, women's, and all gender slow pitch and women's fast pitch leagues are forming now for the summer season. MSCR softball leagues offer fun for every level of player and welcome all participants. Spend your summer evenings with us on the diamond. For more information and to register, go to mscrsportsleagues.org. That's mscrsportsleagues.org.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Welcome back to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by Dancing Goat Distillery of Cambridge.
So much in Iowa this weekend. I'm still mad about it.
I have no sympathy for you because I covered your butt for your morning show. It snowed that day, so I had to wake up even earlier to get there on time. I had to deal with a very tired and, at first, a little bit crabby Alex Strofe. I feel like you threw me under the bus a little bit there, Jesse. So I'm not going to give you sympathy. I'm not going to say I was pulling for you to lose, but I didn't want you to come back from this and be like, I won so much. I won big. So
I mean, okay. So I'm Jesse Nelson, the Hall Mod. I'm in for Jim today. Matt Hamilton, Primetime Wollersheim, Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. I went to Dubuque, Iowa over the weekend, and for those unfamiliar, this is something I've done now 4 years in a row. I bring this up on Wildy and Tausch quite a bit. Then Dubuque is one of my favorite places to go. This is one of my favorite weekends of the year. Go with a bunch of friends from high school. We get an Airbnb or a hotel, and we just walk back and forth to and from the casino and the sports book. We have a heck of a time betting the games. We arrived Friday morning. We got to the sports book at like 10:30. We left at probably midnight. Like, that was our day. We just watched the games. We bet the games. We have a ton of fun. It just totally investing, literally and figuratively, in college basketball for the weekend.
Right.
And it did not go well. This was by far our worst performance collectively as a group.
So
we all believed in
entertainment.
Wisconsin. We all thought Kentucky. I bet 4 times.
You did not. You did not believe in Wisconsin. Did you really?
I did. Our whole group did. The entire sports book did. It was all Badger fans.
And I'm a Badger fan, but I took James Madison in the first round on my bracket, in every bracket.
12-5 upset. You're thinking, oh, well, everyone's calling it an upset. That means it's probably not going to be. The Yale logic. No one was saying Yale's going to beat Auburn. Auburn loves to run up and down. They got an experienced team. They've been saying it's all about the tournament. Yale shows up out of nowhere, wins the game. Oakland, out of nowhere, wins the game. Everybody was saying James Madison was going to win. Therefore, we all believed in Wisconsin. Coming in hot out of the Big Ten tournament.
I like where your head was at there.
Yeah.
Fading the popular.
5 points in the first 10 minutes of that game on Friday night.
How'd you feel about that bet after that? Did you go up and find a way to hedge or something?
It was a quiet sports book. It was a quiet sports book for much of the second half.
Was there hedge options that you could have pulled?
We at halftime, I think we took Wisconsin again. We did the Kentucky. It wasn't as bad as Kentucky. But there was more than one bet that was placed on Wisconsin to come back and win the game.
Wow.
Yeah, like even as poorly as Wisconsin had played, they were only down like 7 or 8 at halftime. It's like, okay, well, James Madison hasn't capitalized. Wisconsin's going to turn this thing around.
Watch the irony when all that money that Badger fans lost is going to go to like Iowa State's NIL fund. TJ Altenberger, keep TJ here. Don't let the Badgers steal him away.
Just brutal. Brutal weekend in Iowa.
It's also brutal for you with your takes as well, Jesse. I remember on a Thursday before you left, you swore to me.
What?
Michigan State was going to beat North Carolina.
I don't remember that. You don't bring up
He's
the
just
ones.
like, I don't even remember.
But I was right about NC State.
Oh.
I was right about Oregon. Oregon,
I
double
also
overtime
took
loss.
Oregon.
Yes.
I actually took Oregon to win that one, too.
Brutal loss.
You had him
in
as your
double
sleeper.
OT.
Yeah. You actually
my
picked him
sleeper.
as your sleeper after they had beaten South Carolina.
The
Well done.
the worst thing about this, like I'm in actually one of the worst positions I can be. I haven't gotten everything so wrong where it's like ridiculously bad. I've just gotten enough wrong where I don't look smart at all. But I'm actually like still in it in the bracket pools, and if I would have just committed to one thing or another, I might actually be in a decent place. But no, I believe so much in Kentucky and so much in Wisconsin that I come back here and I'm like, oh my God, where did it all go?
Down the drain.
I mean, you're the one who chose to go to Dubuque.
I
man.
love Dubuque.
You
Downtown Dubuque, nothing like it.
You didn't say let me go to like Potawatomi over in Milwaukee, not go to like Vegas or Nashville, like a truly like extravagant city for the weekend with your guys.
No, but while I was in Dubuque, many members of our team at ESPN Wisconsin were at Potawatomi, and they were there for the big podcast with Thanalysis with Thanasis Antetokounmpo. Awesome experience. Stephen A. Smith, the special guest who appeared there at Potawatomi. And I do want to remind you separately to tune into Here District with Marcus Johnson each and every week, a weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend, a Bucks Plus audio production. Marcus and his son Chris, a 1995 UCLA hoops champ himself, talk about everything happening in the Bucks world, and they're joined by some of the biggest names in basketball. This week's guest, TNT senior insider Chris Haynes, talking about Damian Lillard's first season in Milwaukee and his growing relationship with the Greek Freak. Stay on the beat of the Bucks and find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Coming up next, we're going to take a look at how our poll question stands. I've retweeted it on my Twitter handle at Jim and Matt is where you're welcome. That is where the poll question lives. And it is
I should vote on that.
You should, Matt. That would be a good thing to do. I'm curious where your vote is going to lie, because you did kind of hedge when we talked about this a few minutes ago. Sweet 16s for the next 4 years with Greg Gard as head coach of the Wisconsin Badgers men's basketball team. Do you believe that that's the case? We'll talk about it in 2 minutes. Coming up next, 5 o'clock hour, Rutledge and Hamilton. Don't go anywhere.
Step into nostalgia with the Miller High Life Dive Bar of the Week. Listen to Rutledge and Hamilton every Thursday, and we will let you know where you can enjoy $2 Miller High Lifes. To celebrate our love for dive bars, me and Matt are going to tell you about some of our favorites, featuring one extra special dive bar that will have $2 High Lifes on special for the week. Taste the champagne of beer in its natural environment. A delightfully different dive bar in Wisconsin, like the Nitty Gritty in Middleton, the Village Green, Riley Tavern, and Remington's Tavern.
Hey, this is Craig Karmas, and join Kyle Wallace and me every Sunday morning for Sunday Karma on a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good afternoon, Madison. I'm Ryan Wollersheim, and this is your Sports Center update brought to you by ESPN Madison on YouTube. Subscribe to watch all your favorite daily shows, Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strofe, exclusively streaming every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and special featured content. Subscribe today to watch ESPN Madison on YouTube. Head back there throughout the day and you'll hear plenty of conversations about the Badgers basketball team losing once again on the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. They fell 72-61 versus 12 seed James Madison on Friday night, late Friday night. Badgers shot just 37.3% from the field in the game and had 19 turnovers. That makes the Badgers' Sweet 16 drought extend out to 7 years. They've won just 2 NCAA tournament games over that span under head coach Greg Gard. Make sure to look back on ESPN Madison's YouTube and Wisconsin On Demand for all the conversation about the Badgers today. Meanwhile, Marquette basketball getting two big wins over the weekend, taking on Western Kentucky on Friday and then also beat number 10 seed Colorado 81-77 on Sunday. They advanced to the Sweet 16 and will play 11 seed North Carolina State on Friday. It's head coach Shaka Smart's first Sweet 16's trip since he was head coach
Metro
of VCU
Kia
in
of
2010.
Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
You got to chill.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
This is Rutledge and Hamilton with Jim Rutledge and Matt Hamilton.
People like me.
That's some booty, Jim.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage. I'm just not ready to crown his ass.
I'm ready to crown him.
You're premature.
Premature coronation.
Yeah, that's not uncommon.
Even if it was like a quote tweet.
I like quote tweets. Facts don't lie.
The next day, he's like, my Achilles feels great. And that dolphin's pregnant.
I don't know what exactly all happened there, but...
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio with double 2024 National Curling Champion Matt Hamilton, here's Jim Rutledge.
I am not Jim Rutledge. I'm Jesse Nelson, the Hall Monitor.
What?
Hall Monitor Monday on Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. I'm starting to actually like it. I just don't want it to be a thing. The Olympic gold medalist Matt Hamilton is here as well. We're presented by Coors Light.
It's going to be a thing.
Yeah.
If you take over on Mondays, it's Hall Monitor Monday.
We
More
are
fun Mondays.
We are following the rules, everybody. That's rude. 844-770-3776. That's also what people were yelling at their TVs wherever they were watching on Friday night, watching Wisconsin fall to James Madison in a 5-12 upset in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. Big hour here of Rutledge and Hamilton because we have Betting with Ben Brust joining on a Monday coming up next. And then Great Dane Huddle, Alex Strofe, and special guest host tonight from our friends over at WKOW-TV, Pablo Iglesias joining Strofe tonight for the Great Dane Huddle. They will join us.
That'll be a good one.
For a little crosstalk at 5:45. You say that like other Great Dane Huddles aren't, Matt.
Well, no. I know that this is not football season. Tarek and Derek aren't going to be there, and Strofe is going to do his best, but Pablo's there to lift up everyone.
Maybe he'll have some more positivity to talk about the Wisconsin men's basketball program than the rest of us have had.
I don't think so.
So far. Because the best Matt can do is say, hey, where's your favorite place to go watch the Badger game? Because everyone had a miserable time watching it on Friday night.
Unless you're a James Madison fan, that is the only highlight of the day, of the night there.
Our poll question on Twitter, at Jim and Matt, at ESPN Madison. Will the Badgers make it back to the Sweet 16 in the next 4 seasons with Greg Gard as head coach?
Maybe if they fluke their way into it.
That was Matt's answer earlier. How did you vote in the poll? It's a yes.
No.
It's a yes or a no. You voted no.
Hard no.
So you are among the 69% of our fans.
69. I like that number.
Who say no, they don't believe the Badgers will make the Sweet 16. The metric by which has been the standard of measuring success for the Wisconsin men's basketball program for the better part of 2 decades.
I just feel like if you make the Sweet 16, you feel like you got a shot at getting, moving on 2 more games, getting to that Final Four, or at least getting to the Elite 8. When you don't make it, when you're still in those play-in rounds, there's a reason they don't have a name, those play-in rounds. It's because if you lose in them, you don't have one either. It doesn't matter who you are because you're going bye-bye.
Well, it matters to James Madison. It matters to Oakland. Not in California.
I mean, I'm sure they are just absolutely chuffed to get knocked out in round 2.
Well, I mean, but they get to say we won an NCAA tournament game. We beat Wisconsin. James Madison, first tournament win in
for those
40
teams,
years.
But if you're a Power 5 conference team, and if you're Wisconsin and you had that run with Bo Ryan where you guys were an absolute perennial Sweet 16 appearance, like that was your thing, and then for the last 7 years you're on hiatus, that's a nothing. That's a big nothing burger. You haven't done anything for me lately. Sorry the COVID year knocked your good season out, but you haven't lived up to expectations.
Okay.
I'm actually really interested to ask Ben Brust this coming up next with us here on Rutledge and Hamilton. Jesse Nelson, the Olympic gold medalist, Matt Hamilton, primetime Wollersheim, running the show. 844-770-3776. So here's the thing about what people are saying right now about Greg Gard and the Badgers program. This was all being said in like 2008 about Bo Ryan and the Badgers. Because those Badgers teams, I remember those games against Cornell and UNLV, second round, first round losses. that were very disappointing for a team that had this very specific style of play.
Was it Dayton that knocked us out with Curry?
Davidson. But yeah, Davidson is another. That was a Sweet 16 game.
Oh, right,
but it was still, the Badgers were favored in that game. Now, obviously, Steph Curry has become what he has, and you feel better about that loss now than you did at the time.
Right.
But there have been others. Ole Miss, which Brust was on the team in 2012. They lost in a 5-12 game in the opening round that year. And there was a narrative for a long time about the Badgers under Bo Ryan that this was a team that would always finish top 4 in the Big Ten, would make a run in the Big Ten tournament because their style was one that was difficult to compete against, but they weren't built for NCAA tournament success. I don't know if people are saying exactly the same thing right now about the Greg Gard-led Wisconsin Badgers, but what they are saying is this is a team that has a very specific style, has a bunch of players who sometimes connect with one another, sometimes look like they don't offensively, and when they get to the NCAA tournament, whether they're a favored team or an underdog, they don't make it past the first round of the tournament. They haven't in 7 years. And the one time that they did, or the 2 times that they did, were because it was Bo's guys who were left over that Gard was leading. So I don't know if it's fair right now to say that Wisconsin is in the same place that it was in 2010 or 2008, prior to those back-to-back Final Four runs, which we can talk to Ben about again in a few minutes. But the narrative does feel similar to me. Would one Elite Eight run, would one Final Four run change that? I don't know.
It should feel similar, but we got to remember the college sports landscape is totally different now. It's not apples apples anymore. This is totally different things with the NIL, the transfer portal becoming what it has. Like, Bo didn't have to deal with anything like this. He knew that the players he had were players that he was going to be able to develop and move forward with. Like, right now, Greg Gard is working on recruiting players, and he's got to basically keep his players that he currently has. The turnover's way, way different, and I'm not sure if this new style, obviously it's not what Greg Gard's used to and not what he learned under Bo Ryan when he was the, first in command under Bo. Like, I just feel like this is such a different landscape. I don't know if he is necessarily the guy to take the Badgers into this NIL transition.
So it's kind of a hot button thing to keep mentioning NIL. I don't think, maybe I'm naive, I don't think NIL played any part in them having 5 points with 10 minutes to go in the first half on Friday night.
I think it has a lot to do with how players have been coming in and out of Madison and how we get recruited.
Do you think it impacted Connor Esigian at all? Like his decision to transfer out?
He
at
didn't
this
play
point?
in the game. Yeah, I guess that if I wasn't getting any playing time and I was told I was this big time recruit, something.
Especially when you had 10 points. You were averaging 10 points the season before your freshman year, and then you go into your sophomore year thinking you're going to be a key piece to this team. At the very least, he probably thought he was going to be the sixth man. And he got 3 points on average, 3.5 points on average this season.
Yeah, what happened with Connor Esigian this season is surprising. There's no doubt about that. For all of us that thought coming into this year he was going to be one of the featured players on the Badgers roster.
Certainly.
There's still plenty of other talent on that team. Tyler Wall, what was that on Friday night? Chucky Hepburn.
I mean, even AJ Storr, he had 5 turnovers, I believe.
Storr was bad in that game.
And if we're going to be talking about NIL and transfers, he's the guy to really watch.
Yes, that's one that you definitely want to keep your eyes on.
We're betting men here, as we've mentioned, and as we're going to do it. You got to go back to Dubuque. And if you were in Dubuque and you were placing a bet on where he's going to be playing next year, would you be betting on the Badgers?
I would take the field.
The field?
Over Wisconsin, yes.
Yeah, I think he's going to move out, and I think the reason for that is, unfortunately, I think it's the way that he feels he's utilized on this team and the way this team plays ball. I think Greg Gard is a fine human. He's a nice guy, and I think when all he has to do is focus on the X's and the O's and be a basketball coach, I think he could be a pretty good one. The problem is there's so much more being demanded of a head coach all across college sports that it's not everybody's cup of tea, and I think Greg Gard is one of those guys who's more of the X's and O's guys and less of a I'm going to chat you up, I'm going to make sure you're feeling happy, I'm going to get players to come in, I'm going to keep players here, I'm going to find them opportunities in NIL. Like, that just doesn't seem like his bag.
So let me ask you this, Matt. Again, before we get to Ben Brust coming up next for Betting with Brust here on Rutledge and Hamilton. So Chris McIntosh, athletic director at the University of Wisconsin, looked at Paul Chryst and the football team, said not living up to Badger standards, not good enough, made a move mid-season, uncharacteristic. Looked at the hockey program, Tony Granato, fan favorite. Looked at what they were doing, not living up to standards, made a move, made a change. Here they are in the NCAA tournament starting this week.
Yep.
Do you trust Chris McIntosh more than you and I and Wooly and anybody else who's watching this team from afar at whatever dive bar we are with our Coors Lights? Do you trust Chris McIntosh blindly to make the right decision moving forward?
I mean, if he came out tomorrow and said, Greg Gard's our guy moving forward, I'm an idiot. I don't know anything about basketball, especially not at that level. McIntosh seems like he's been making right move after right move. Yes, in Mac I trust. So if he thinks Gard's the guy and he's the one who can lead the Badgers forward in this NIL transition period across the NCAA, then he's probably right. But if you were to ask me if I was the AD, I think I'd move on.
We'll ask Ben Brust that question coming up next. Before we do that, though, Matt, tell us all about your friends over at Dancing Goat Distillery.
That's right. Dancing Goat Distillery is just a hop, skip, and a jump outside of Madison in Cambridge. And if you haven't been there yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. That distillery, one, is gorgeous. It's right on a vineyard. Amazing views. Great place to just have a cocktail and hang out. Their tasting room is open. You can check that out at dancinggoat.com. They've got distillery tours. They've even got a distilling experience where you can make your own gin. You got to check out dancinggoat.com to see when those are available. And if you haven't heard me talk about it yet, you're going to hear it now. Dancing Goat Distillery's delicious Corky and Humble Blend bourbon made right here in Wisconsin. You got to try it. It's not like your average bourbon. It's aged in a Colombian oak wood. So if you're looking for a new bourbon experience that's local, close to home here in Madison, check out Dancing Goat Distillery and dancinggoat.com.
For the record, I don't think you're an idiot, Matt.
I have my moments.
I don't know if I can say the same about our next guest. Ben Brust joins us next for Betting with Brust on Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. The mountains are blue, and we can prove it. Follow the show on Twitter at Jim and Matt.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB Academy offers training programs for players of all ages and skill levels. Learn from some of the best baseball coaches in the area and find the program that fits your training goals and your schedule. Spots are filling up fast, so visit grbacademy.com to sign up now. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
Time to start thinking about a summer job? Jesse Nelson here, and Madison School and Community Recreation is now hiring for many positions, including day camp and youth program leaders, outdoor adventure staff, support staff for individuals with disabilities, sports instructors and officials, and more. Full and part-time positions with daytime and evening hours are available. No matter your interest, schedule, or location, there's a position for everyone. At MSCR, you can make an immediate impact in the community and gain meaningful experience. Start your summer adventure today. Apply at mscr.org.
It's Chevy truck season, and there's no better time to do what you do best. No better time to get the job done in a Chevy Silverado with best-in-class standard torque and a TurboMax engine with a 5-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty that outlasts both Ford and Ram. So kick off whatever your thing is season right, because it all starts with a Chevy truck.
See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Based on latest competitive data, excludes other GM vehicles, whichever comes first. See dealer for limited warranty details based on Ford and Ram 5-year, 60,000-mile warranty on gasoline engines.
Greg Scalzo here for Buck and Honey's. Congratulations to the perennial Best of Madison Award winner by the folks at Madison Magazine. Meet me at Buck and Honey's to celebrate Wisconsin hospitality. Whether you're enjoying the view on the Yahara River in Monona, exploring Wanakee, visiting the OG in Sun Prairie, or checking out the new location in Mount Horeb, you can enjoy the Buck and Honey's experience in a neighborhood near you. Serving lunch and dinner 7 days a week with brunch every Saturday and Sunday. I'll see you at Buck and Honey's.
Matt Hamilton here to tell you about my friends at Revive Restoration. Nobody plans for accidents to happen, but when they do, you can count on Revive to be professional, efficient, and detail-oriented as they make things right again. Revive Restoration.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. I joined the Princeton Club because I was looking for a place I could invest in my health, and the environment and the community I have felt has made it so easy for me to incorporate it into my everyday life. It doesn't matter where you're at in your fitness journey because they have something to offer everyone. It also goes beyond fitness. From the moment you walk in the club to the moment you walk out, there is a togetherness felt throughout the members and staff that keeps you going for your better tomorrow. Don't wait any longer and get started on your fitness journey today at PrincetonClub.net. That's PrincetonClub.net.
Welcome back to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
To midcourt. Rust has it. Lets it go.
Yeah, Ben won. He got 9.
Let's go. We are 7-point favorites at home against Illinois. 7. Go be divided!
Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. No Jim Rutledge today. Jesse Nelson and the Olympic gold medalist Matt Hamilton. Primetime Wollersheim running the show. And it's time now for Betting with Brust with our friend, host of Kyle Brust and Norman. Weekdays 2 to 4 on 100.5 ESPN. Ben Brust. Ben, they could have used you Friday night.
Classic old basketball player. Oh, they could have used you. I mean, Jesse, come on, you're better than that. How many times I've gotten that one?
They had 5 points 10 minutes into the game, Ben.
Yeah, well, my old ass wouldn't have helped that.
It wouldn't have hurt.
It wouldn't have hurt. It wouldn't have hurt. But I would rather have been. I'd rather have been not out there than out there part of it.
Benny, you always look really good in that Easter Sales charity game. I think you would have been able to help the team at least a little bit.
Maybe a smidgen, but I'm not here to offer my services. I'm here to provide betting services.
So, Ben, before we get to betting with Brust, because I'm new to this around here, I just have a couple of Badger questions to ask you before we get into this. What's been your message for fans who are clamoring for changes earlier today on Kyle Brust and Nortman, or as you continued to dissect what happened on Friday night over the last 36 hours or so?
So, like, to me, there's no argument about, like, Friday night. Friday night was bad. Like you can't argue that what happened Friday is acceptable, especially from the standpoint of I'm getting sick of not being in the second weekend. But what I did is, it's not like I'm not saying pull the trigger. I'm not saying, not to. It should be scalding hot right now, and it is. And Greg has done a great job of always, like, when things get tough, right? And 2020, they had to win 8 straight games. When he took over for Bo, the team was kind of bad. Then they won a bunch after starting like 5 of 7 in Big Ten play, going to the Sweet 16. Now, those are all stories of adversity, right? In 2022, they won the Big Ten title off the bank threes. Like, there's been good moments, but unfortunately, everyone judges based off what you do in the NCAA tournament. And it's been 7 years since the Sweet 16 of 2017. So I don't have arguments. My thing is, when you look at the longest consecutive NCAA tournament streaks, Colgate is on the list with 5. And there's 4 or 5 other teams ahead of them, like Tennessee, Purdue, Michigan State, North Carolina. Like, Duke's not even on there. Kentucky's not on there. Arizona's not on there. And so, like, I know it's been 2 of the last 8 years they haven't made the tournament, and I know they haven't won a lot of games, but if you're going to do it, you got to make sure that you find somebody that is going to be light years better, because it's like he's above average in terms of making the tournament. He has been good in the tournament, but if you continuously get yourself there, you'll run off a Sweet 16 run eventually. And I know that's not a great answer, but it's probably mine.
No, I mean, I think that's fair. I'm definitely in the camp of the grass might not always be greener, but I'm not loving the grass I'm in right now. So
I think that's fair. Like
but
I said,
I'm no expert.
I'm not going to sit here and say, Matt, your grass just needs a little bit of watering. And you're like, dude, I've been watering it for 7 years and it's not growing.
Yeah. I don't know. I basically hedged and said if Mac thinks that Gard should stay, then I believe in McIntosh. But it's not my rule to hire and fire Badgers men's basketball coaches. That's for sure.
I think that grass looks pretty good in Ames, Iowa. That's all I'm going to say about that right now. Ben, I do want to ask you about this narrative.
You've been to Iowa too much. Just shut up about Iowa.
Ben, it's not my fault that T.J. Otzelberger is recruiting Wisconsin as good as he is, and that they're winning. And they've become.
It's not about T.J.
They've become Wisconsin.
I'm done hearing about your trip to Dubuque.
I'm not talking about Dubuque. I'm talking about the head coach of the Iowa State Cyclones, who are a 2 seed, who are back in the Sweet 16, and just landed another recruit, a 4-star from Oshkosh North over the weekend.
I'm aware of all these things, Jesse, and the in-state thing has come back to bite them. But there was excitement about the 4-star you get from Minnesota, and if you don't want to be excited about that because you had a 4-star from Nebraska and Chucky not too long ago, I get that. You know, like I don't know what you want me. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Well, I'm kind of with Matt. Like I can't argue if you are upset with what has happened in the tournament because 19 turnovers, even as a fan, as a former player, and I'm sure even as for that team, it's unacceptable. Like you need to that is just unacceptable. So I can't argue.
I guess I want you to tell me this, Ben. We're talking with Ben Brust, Jesse Nelson, Matt Hamilton, Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. So when you were recruited and came to the University of Wisconsin, there was a narrative around Bo Ryan that, this style of play was good for a top 4 finish in the Big Ten, but it wasn't good for a deep NCAA tournament run until it was with back-to-back Final Four trips. It feels to me like we're starting to get there too.
I was recruited not even thinking about the Final Four. I was like, I know it's top 4, and I know it's NCAA tournament. And with that, it's the NCAA tournament, right? Like, all it takes is 1 year where it clicks and you go on a run. It's stupid if we're being quite honest. Unless you're a top team, most of the time the top teams do make it to the Final Four, but there's a ton of chaos leading to the Sweet 16. There just is. It's tough, and unless you're one of those top teams where like this year UConn, like last year there was a 1, a 5, a 4, and a 4, but before that. It's usually 2 or 3 1 seeds. Like it just is. And so if you're not in that top tier, you're not going to the Final Four. And we did hit a perfect stretch, but I wasn't recruited thinking I'm going to a Final Four team. I was like, I get a shot every year to play in the tournament. And what happened after that has raised expectations. But guess what? That was under Bo Ryan. It's hard to follow a legend. You can't have those same expectations. It's just what legend gets leaves their post and then the predecessor does better than the guy who taught him everything. Name it.
Aaron Rodgers.
I mean,
but you could argue they both have one Super Bowl. It's the same thing. But I'm talking about coaching.
Yeah. I hear where you're going.
Name a legend.
I can't think of any off the top of my head. I'm sure there are some. I cannot think of any off the top of my head.
Well, I did a couple. I'm not gonna throw.
Yeah, don't spoon feed him anymore. All right, let's get to betting with Brust. Wooly, take it away.
It's not a look-ahead spot for this team. It's a bounce-back spot for this team.
Look at me. Your money. You know what else? You're a big winner tonight.
I saw some absolute smacks in the NFL. You better lock it up.
I'm pounding the over on that.
No, you lock it up. You lock it up.
This is how I win.
What's your lock of the week?
Yeah, guys, it's time for Ben's favorite segment of the week, even if he was too good to join us last Thursday. Ben, what the heck?
I was on a remote broadcast, and it would have been a complete disaster.
The week before, too.
Yeah, 2 times.
Well,
the week before might have been more on the producer
They're
for that
coming
one.
for you, Ben. They also got this creepy picture of you up on our video stream Twitter at ESPN Madison.
It's the worst.
Of course, I'm phoning in today, so you guys can do whatever you want to me.
We appreciate you, Ben. Now, you weren't with us last week, so I'll quickly run over Matt and Jim's picks. So Jim, being the good alum that he was, had FAU covering the 3.5 against Northwestern. Lost that one 77-65 in overtime.
By overtime.
That was a great game, though. Good game, just not good for Jim Rutledge. Though Jim Rutledge was correct saying that the Badgers would not cover the 5.5-point spread against JMU. They didn't even win, so it doesn't matter. Matt, being the Badger backer that he was, real optimistic going up against the Dukes. Didn't turn out too well for him, but Matt trusts in his favorite Cougars. They covered the 24-point spread against, I believe it was Longwood in the first round. I think they actually won by 40 in that one. So well done, Matt, on that pick.
Nice picks, Hambone.
And I will say, the only reason I took the Badgers is because I wanted to fade Jim.
Wow. One more Longwood joke before we bid them adieu forever in the NCAA tournament. Well played, Ben.
Definitely well played, Ben. And speaking of plays, Ben, what's your lock of the week this week?
Illinois money line. Illinois is plus 1.5, but I don't need the 1.5. I think Terrence Shannon Jr. is the best player in the game. The guy that everyone wants to come to the Badgers will be grounded by Brad Underwood and the team of Illinois and Domask and Terrence Shannon Jr., Coleman Hawkins. I think Illinois is a wagon right now. They're playing their best basketball, and I like them as underdogs here. Straight up, money line, plus 110.
Okay. All right, Ben. Very confident. Jesse, you confident in a pick this week?
I am. I like Iowa State in that game, just for the record. That's not going to be my official lock here, but I can't be out here
guy
can't be out here touting my guy Otzelberger and then say, yeah, but Illinois is going to take him this week. Ben, I'm actually going to use your advice to make my lock of the week pick this week. I was so down on Creighton. And Creighton doesn't belong to be in the Sweet 16 because Oregon had them beat on Saturday night in double overtime. The Jays prevail. They are 3-point dogs against Tennessee. I had so many years picking Tennessee in my brackets where they fell in the Sweet 16. Creighton finds a trip back to the Elite Eight because the Big East is on fire. Give me Creighton plus 3 on Friday night. Ben was a big Creighton guy when he was talking about the bracket last week.
Gotcha. I have Creighton, Arizona in the Final Four. Creighton, Arizona, Illinois, and Kentucky. But
I am not a believer in Creighton at all, but I'm taking Brust's advice because he's been right about a lot in this tournament.
All right, Matt, what's your...
I actually have. Thanks, Jesse.
Oh,
You're welcome, Ben.
Very gracious, Jesse.
That might have been the nicest thing I've ever heard Ben say to you.
Yeah.
Same.
Usually fouled with something rude, so you better get done with the second quick.
Yeah. Well,
all right, Matt.
I'll give you something to get fiery about, maybe. I'm sticking with my team. Houston is going to roll Duke. I mean, I think I got 3.5 points right now. I'll tease that up to 5. I am super confident in Houston.
You can't just tease it up to 5. It changes the odds.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, like, I love Houston.
Just tease it up to just give him 5 anyway. Who cares?
Give me a new number.
He
I'll
just
tell
makes
you,
it harder
Houston's
for
still
himself.
going to be my team.
Give him -5 on this. Actually, give -7.
Yeah, let's go -10 there, Matt. Do you think they cover double digits?
Yes. I'll take Houston.
If they're going to win by 8, might as well win by
Hamilton.
10.
I love that. I think Houston's going to roll, Duke.
Yeah.
All right, we're taking by 5. All right, guys, the last thing we got for the week is the primetime prop of the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
I want to swing on over to that Marquette game. They're taking on NC State, and honestly, NC State's my favorite Cinderella left, guys. Because you know why? Because DJ Burns, the regulator, is owning this tournament. Yes, if you have not seen him yet, Matt, you need to find a photo.
Not only have I not seen him, I've not heard of him.
Look, he might be playing left tackle for the Packers next season, more likely than him going to the NBA.
He's a big fella.
He's about 6'8", 280. He just dances around the lane like a grizzly bear ballerina. He's incredible to watch. But guys,
what now?
A grizzly bear ballerina. That's the best description I have for his playstyle. He's an American Jokic. That's all I'm saying.
I love it.
All right. But I gotta ask you guys. He is a double-double machine. So do you guys think over or under 10.5 rebounds against Marquette for DJ Burns? Jesse, I'm starting with you.
I'm going to say over 10.5 rebounds. I don't think Marquette has the size to keep up with him down low, but I think Marquette wins the game by playing their game outside.
Nobody asked about the winning the game.
Thanks,
And
Ben. Come on, I'm just trying to match you with all of our intelligence here. I'm saying
you don't have intelligence. You just lost all your money in Dubuque.
That is true. Most of that was on Kentucky and Wisconsin, though, in fairness.
All right, let's get some intelligence back here. Matt Hamilton, what do you think?
I'll take the over as well.
Okay.
The guy, I just looked up his stats, 6'9", 275. That's crazy.
Oh, he's incredible. I love him. Ben, are you familiar with DJ?
I'm fading those two yahoos. Fade the public under.
Who's going to get the rebounds?
That's what Jesse did when he picked Wisconsin.
Marquette doesn't have a big. Who's going to compete with that guy down low?
Oso Iguodala is athletic enough. He doesn't play above the rim.
This is going to be like when Gard said, raise your hand if you fouled out. That's what Burns is going to do to Marquette on Friday night. Again, I think Marquette wins the game, but it's going to burn. It ain't going to be because they shut down Burns.
You better watch out for Burns. That's all I'm saying. DJ Burns.
I told you I'm not addressing Jesse when it comes to actual breaking down of the Marquette game.
Analysis.
Creighton, though. Good pick, Ben.
Jesse, they've been just fine, and just so you know,
they needed double overtime and a lucky break in regulation to get there.
Okay, in Houston against the 9 seed, like what are we doing? It's the NCAA tournament. You have to win some tight games. You just roll everybody.
I also like Gonzaga plus 5.5 against Purdue on Friday night.
All right, I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
Hey, Ben, thank you for your incredible college basketball insight and a wonderful discussion during this Betting with Bruss segment on Rutledge and Hamilton. We appreciate and look forward to hearing more of what you say tomorrow on KBN from 2 to 4 on 100.5 ESPN.
He already hung up. It's over.
That sounded
He
so
moved on.
sarcastic.
He
too.
left already?
He left as soon as he
didn't
was
even
finished
hear
talking.
all the nice things I got to say about
Not
him?
a bit.
That sounded sarcastic.
I meant it.
No, I know you did, but it didn't sound genuine.
It was the delivery.
Yeah, totally.
Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light, 100.5 ESPN at Wisconsin On Demand.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. Need more of Judgmental Jim? Subscribe to the Rutledge and Hamilton podcast, presented by Revive Restoration, wherever you get your podcasts.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare, with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it yourself at 2 convenient Madison locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. Honda certified technicians handle it all. You can even get flexible payment options. Fix your car now and pay later. Apply online to see your options in seconds with no hard credit check. Make your service appointment online at ZimbrickHonda.com. Zimbrick Honda Service Center on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
At UW Credit Union, our home loans have everything you need for your next big step, including up to $750 off closing costs for all home buyers. And first-time buyers can save even more. So if you're ready to trade roomies for more room, or your townhome for an out-of-town home, UW Credit Union will be with you from start to furnished. UW Credit Union. Apply online today. Equal housing lender. Credit may be limited as required by program. Visit uwcu.org for details.
It's official. 2023 was the biggest jackpot year on record at Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison. Check out these totals. We had over 57,000 jackpots and more than $134 million in winnings. This shatters our previous record year, and we have no intention of stopping here. And with our 95% average payout, we continue to be the official home of the big win right here in Madison. Let's keep it going in 2024 with even more jackpots at
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
What's Vegas Midwest?
Madison, where I went to college, is very fun. You know that, Smalls. You've been there.
It's not Madison.
It's not Madison. Madison is
a college town.
You love Madison.
I love Madison. It is not Las Vegas. It is not Central Vegas.
Is there no Central Vegas then?
Unsportsmanlike. Weekdays from 5 to 9 on 100.5 ESPN.
Hey everyone, Molly Brown from ESPN Madison here for the best Southwestern food in the Madison area. It's always Pasquale's Cantina for me and my family. Whether I'm enjoying my favorite taco salad, their awesome chips and guac, or one of their famous burritos, Pasquale's is the best for authentic Southwestern fare. Visit one of their locations in Verona or Middleton today, or check out their menu and order online at PasqualesCantina.com.
Bringing the flavors of the Southwest to the Midwest. Pasquale's Cantina.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Carbon World Health.
Man, I got this right. My hammer to my back. You know I'm popping tag. But man, I got this swag. Man, I got this swag. My hammer to my back. You know I'm popping tag.
Tune into Thanalysis every week. Bucks player Thanasis Antetokounmpo sits down with special guests to have fun and honest conversations. Conversations with NBA stars Damian Lillard and Donovan Mitchell, basketball media royalty Jay Williams, and more big-name guests are already up as part of Season 2 of Thanalysis. Find Thanalysis Show today on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere else you get your podcasts, and subscribe to the Thanalysis Show on YouTube for accompanying videos and special content. Thanalysis Live Friday night at Potawatomi Hotel and Casino in Milwaukee. Outstanding event. So many of our ESPN Wisconsin teammates were there. Congratulations to them. Special guest Stephen A. Smith stopping by. What a night at Potawatomi for Thanalysis. Make sure you subscribe and check out Thanalysis with Thanasis Antetokounmpo anywhere you get your podcast. Rutledge and Hamilton presented by Coors Light. Jesse Nelson, the Olympic gold medalist Matt Hamilton, prime time Wollersheim behind the glass running the show. Let's quickly get to throwing some stones.
The guys think they have the answers to everything.
I'm the best there is. People like me.
So it's time to put them to the test.
That's some booty, Jim.
You know, that's just like your opinion, man.
This is Throwing Stones, presented by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
Yeah, guys, we all know that sticks and stones may break our bones, and you should not loan money to an interpreter.
Nice.
Probably the biggest thing
Could
that
have
we
used them in Dubuque over the weekend.
Yeah, you certainly could have. You could have used a lot of things in Dubuque. But the number one thing our show missed, not just
Who
Matt
could you have
missed.
used, an interpreter or Shohei and his checkbook?
Both.
I mean, that's a good combination, a dangerous combination, actually, because Friday news came out that Shohei Ohtani, his interpreter, I can't say his name. I don't know how.
I think it's
Ipe? Ipe is his first name. Ipe, his interpreter.
Ipe, the interpreter.
Who you've likely seen before. He's accompanying Shohei. Mizuhara. Yes.
Mizuhara.
Well done, Matt. Thank you very much.
Just give him the win now.
Yeah, honestly, the bright side,
Come on.
Japanese names are very phonetic.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Well, apparently while he may have been a phonetic name, he's apparently a rabid gambler as well. He apparently got into deep with a bookie out in California, and apparently Shohei Ohtani, at least based on reporting, had to help loan him some money to get him out of his debt to one of his bookies.
Some money?
Some money? I think, what was it, like
to the tune of $4.5 million?
Okay.
Well, now they're saying he stole it, though. They
Yes.
didn't lend it to him.
Yes.
He took it.
So Shohei Ohtani addressed the media for the first time today. Here's what he had to say with his new interpreter speaking for him.
ありません. So, in conclusion, I do want to make it clear that I never betted on sports.
or have willfully sent money to the bookmaker.
So, guys, I ask, what do we think about just the whole Shohei Ohtani situation, right? Like, we haven't had a chance to talk about it on this show yet. So, Matt, I want to start with you. What's your first thought about this? Do you think that Shohei, is he telling the truth here? What do we think?
So, it's tough for me to figure it out because I do believe that he was not gambling, but how does your interpreter have access to your bank account to the point where he can take $4.5 million?
That's a good question.
Now, Shohei, in that clip, said he never loaned him the money to pay the guy off. So this is now stolen money, which makes me think, like, how did this guy actually steal money from him? It's like, I don't even care if it is your best friend. My best friend doesn't know my bank account information. So
James from DeForest does, I bet.
James from
after
DeForest.
After a night out on Friday.
You might have got it from me if they asked. But at this point, I don't know what to believe. Who knows, man? Like, this is some sticky situation right now. They're gonna have to do a full-on investigation, and
wow.
I do know if he's playing and sticking around, then maybe Pete Rose deserves a shot at the Hall of Fame.
I can tell you what to believe, Matt, and it's a tweet that I saw that went and looked at some bets that were placed in the hometown of the interpreter, and it was Angels games that were for millions of dollars, and it was all around the worst pitching performances that Ohtani had over the last couple of years.
Now, like, as his
seems a
interpreter,
little
as a
suspicious.
Guy, so as a guy who's around the the player all the time, the interpreter is, right? You would know when Ohtani might be having an off week. You see that. So, like, I feel like if anyone was going to know when your star player is going to have a bad week, it's going to be someone who's around you all the time. So I wouldn't necessarily chalk that up to Ohtani tanking a game and telling this guy to make a bet. I think this guy is wise enough to be like, okay, they're overusing him. They're playing a team that has success against right-handed pitchers, and they're gonna wallop them.
The weird thing is, I think this is actually a good thing for baseball. It makes the Dodgers even more of a villain.
And
just like the Houston Astros.
We're talking about baseball right now.
Just like the Houston Astros 6-7 years ago, the last time Wisconsin made a Sweet 16, when the Astros had their trash can scandal, that helped baseball become a little more interesting. I think this is going to make the Dodgers a great villain for the remainder of this season.
All right, guys. This was the only stone I had for you today. We're a little tight on time. We want to get to the guys out there at the Great Dane Huddle. But Matt Hamilton, speaking multiple languages, about to go on his European tour, and he speaks Japanese? That's a heck of a win for you, Matt Hamilton.
The second he got the interpreter's name, there was never a doubt. Well done, Hambone.
Ippei Mizuhara, you said?
Mizuhara.
Mizuhara.
There's a U there. Yeah.
Wow. Matt, how can you manage that? And then
he's an international man.
Giannis Antetokounmpo is just like impossible
he
for you.
He doesn't know who DJ Burns is, but he knows that guy.
I mean, I was looking at it, but again, the Japanese, it sounds exactly as it's written. There's no trick letters like there is in English.
Or Greek.
Giannis Antetokounmpo. Or Greek.
Or actually Nigerian, I should say. Well, Greek Nigerian.
Let's not worry about that.
All right.
Rutledge and Hamilton presented by Coors Light. Coming up next, we're going to have Crosstalk with Alex Strofe and special guest host Pablo Iglesias from WKOW-TV on the Great Dane Huddle. They're out in Fitchburg. That Crosstalk is presented by Carbon World Health. Heading to break, let's hear from Jim Rutledge talking about the great team over at Carbon World Health.
You've heard me talk about Carbon World Health and semaglutide and hormone optimization for a while now. What are you waiting for if you haven't checked it out? And if you have checked it out, congratulations to you. You're probably seeing the results. Sign up for the 6-week experience. See what Dr. Nestor Rodriguez and the whole team at Carbon World Health has to offer, and see if semaglutide, the first FDA-approved weight loss treatment, game-changing FDA-approved weight loss treatment, is right for you. Or maybe it's hormone optimization. Maybe you're not having that same vigor in the day-to-day life that you've had. Maybe you're not gaining muscle like you used to. Hormone optimization could be right for you. Find out what is right for you in your fitness journey at Carbon World Health.
This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. Watch every show live and for free on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
You're probably being overwhelmed with information about semaglutide, the game-changing FDA-approved weight loss treatment. Jim Rutledge here. I was like you. I didn't know what it was until I saw Dr. Nessa Rodriguez at Carbon World Health. He can walk you through the benefits. He can tell you if it's right for you, and then you could come up with a plan to change your life with a workout plan and semaglutide. With that plan, I dropped from 20% body fat to 10% body fat, and I dropped over 20 pounds of fat and kept my muscle. You can do the same thing. Go see Dr. Nessa Rodriguez at Carbon World Health.
Experience, knowledge, results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Protect your dream home with American Family Insurance. And you can weather any storm. You'll also save up to 25% by bundling home, auto, and life. American Family Insurance. Get a quote. Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Discounts may not apply to all coverages on an auto or home policy. Discounts do not apply to life insurance policies. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Mark Tauscher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott and Garrett and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there. My friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. Well, what's right around the corner? Mother's Day. Show some love to the incredible women in your life and stop at Chalmers Jewelers, the place to go for that perfect gift. I recommend Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
And Madison. It's time for Mad March Savings at Metro Kia of Madison. Get into a 2024 Kia Seltos at 4.75% APR financing for 48 months. $22.92 per 1,000 borrowed. Deal available to qualified credit. Offers on the 2024 Kia EV6 include 0% APR financing for 60 months. The buzzer will sound on these deals at the end of March, so hurry in to Metro Kia Madison today. Browse their inventory at metrokiamadison.com.
Crosstalk with the Great Dane Huddle is brought to you by Carbon World Health, Madison's premier comprehensive health spa and fitness facility.
All
right, so this is extra fun today here on Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. Crosstalk with the Great Dane Huddle because we got new people in the mix everywhere here. I'm Jesse Nelson on a Hall Monitor Monday with Jim Rutledge on vacation for the week. Matt Hamilton's here in studio, but this is his last day before he's going to Switzerland for 2 weeks.
Yep.
Competing in the, which one is this now?
This is the Men's World Championships.
Men's World Championships over the next 2 weeks. Best of luck to you and the squad.
Thank you.
Hope you come up big over in Switzerland. And now over in Fitchburg.
Let's go. Beauty is, it's not a bracket style, so I can't get bounced in the first round.
That's nice. Yeah, you can't pull a Wisconsin. Over in Fitchburg at the Great Dane, getting ready for the Great Dane Huddle tonight, Alex Strofe, he's the usual one, and special guest host from WKOW, Pablo Iglesias.
Oh, that's me. I'm special.
The Great Dane going bananas for Pablo Iglesias.
We've got quite the crowd out here that has clearly come out for Alex and I. Yeah. They are here for us.
Clearly not a networking happy hour happening to
I don't hear a lot of claps. I don't hear a lot of claps when it's just Alex. So I'm pretty sure this is the Pablo Iglesias show.
It's just more of like a podcast style, guys. They just want to see the one-on-one conversation, right? Isn't that how this goes?
Exactly. You got it. You got the right idea. This is good. Pablo outside of the studio, because Pablo's only done this radio thing a few times, guys, and he is excited to be out in the wilderness. I'm excited to see how this goes.
This is interesting, man. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with my hands, and let's just see what happens.
Well, ADD is tough when you're out doing remote.
Big time. Tell me about it.
For Tausch, it's actually tougher when he's in in the studio on Wildy and Tausch because we got the TVs on that distract him well enough. So
We're
guys,
in a bar, Jesse. There's TVs everywhere.
That's very true. I'm sure you will spend plenty of time talking about Greg Gard and the Wisconsin men's basketball team tonight. So I want to spend this time with your pep talk for Matt Hamilton getting ready to go to the Men's World Championships in Switzerland. What is the best advice you can offer the Olympic gold medalist so that he does not have a performance that looked like what Wisconsin had against James Madison on Friday night?
Ryan, I don't know if you can pull the tape, but I'd like to rewind about 95 seconds when Jesse brought this segment in, and he said, in the most sarcastic tone imaginable, good luck to you and the fellas. Jesse has reveled in nothing more than Matt Hamilton and Team Schuster's shortcomings at the Olympics back in 2022, and they took 4th place. I'm surprised Jesse didn't introduce him as the 4th-place finisher. So, Matt, you don't need motivation from me. You don't need a pep talk from me. Just use that dumb face in front of you as motivation.
Matty Jams, here's the thing. Swiss cheese, it's got a lot of holes. You have absolutely no holes. You are perfect. You are just smooth across the board, man. Just keep doing your thing. Let it ride, baby. I know you got it. You got what it takes. So, like Stroh said, you don't need a hype up, but we're here to hype you up anyway. Go get them.
I appreciate
that. Was actually very good.
That was
No, it wasn't. That sounds like what Gard told the Badgers on Friday night.
Well, hey,
they had
Matt,
plenty of holes in their team.
Matt, do you want to run through a brick wall after that?
Yeah. Honestly, I do.
Look at
I was
this,
going to
Jesse.
flip
You
this
can't turn
table
on
in
a Brad,
excitement.
a guy like that. I'm sorry, Matt.
No, you nailed it. You nailed it. I appreciate all the pump up and the excitement. I'm telling you what, the toughest part is trying to bounce back into the proper time zone. Competing in North America is way easier than going abroad and trying to do it. So that's what I'll be focused on, and that's how I know I'm going to be able to get back into the game the way I need to.
Guys, our poll question on Twitter at Jim and Matt today: will the Badgers make it back to the Sweet 16 in the next 4 years with Greg Gard as the head coach? 70% of our fans have voted no in the poll. Matt Hamilton voted that way as well. How do you vote in our poll question?
I'm with that as well. It's just, I think this next year, and Stroh and I will probably talk about it some more, but I think this next year is going to be the big test year in terms of, as the last few years have been, they've had a lot of talent, but I think this is the do or die year, if you will, this next season. He's got some decent talent coming in here, but in terms of what it looks like for the rest of the way, I don't know. I think next year you have to do it, otherwise you're going to be packing your bags.
You're absolutely right, Pablo. You're voting yes if you think they do it next year. And if they don't do it next year, you can cue the infamous Magic Johnson clip where he says, I ain't going to be here. Because Greg Gard ain't going to be here if they don't make it next year. I think Greg Gard is on a prove-it year. I think the seat, rightfully so, is red hot heading in to the 24-25 season and recruiting season here. I think his job is safe. I think he's safe in the Big Ten tournament. I think we determined that last week. But it's to the point where literally every one of our shows on ESPN Wisconsin today is discussing whether or not it's time to move on from Greg Gard. And the minute you start having that conversation, you probably have your answer. It's the first time I've even considered it following Friday's loss to James Madison. So, yeah, I'm going to vote no because I probably don't think it happens next year down Stephen Crowell and Connor Essegian. Tyler Wall and Connor Essegian.
Really quick from all three of you, yes or no, do you think Marquette reaching the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2013 skews how you're looking at Wisconsin this year also? Matt?
No.
Now, those fellas say no. You're last now, Matt.
I say no because they got a coach like Shaka Smart who seems like a kind of guy who is ready to lead his team into this NIL transition period of college sports. People want to come play for him. I don't know what the big draw is for Gard, but he's done okay in recruiting. But this is a different animal and a different time, and I think Shaka Smart has got what it takes.
Feels like we're heading into Chris territory, just to put it out there. It really feels like Gard is a great know him throughout the years and covering him, but it feels like we're heading into Chris territory. And I agree with you with what you said, Matt. It feels like the Shaka Smart has the proven track record with the mid-majors. He's gotten to those points, and now it looks like he's starting to do it with a higher program that's in a bigger conference.
If I'm Chris McIntosh and I make the decision to move on, the first phone call I'm making is to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I'm not saying he answers the phone. And I'm not saying he certainly doesn't click after the first 5 seconds of the phone call. But if I'm Chris McIntosh, my first phone call is to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Shaka Smart.
I think that'd be a smart phone call. You gotta,
Oh, good one, Matt. He's gonna leave us on a zinger.
You gotta shoot your shot.
Unbelievable.
Guys, thanks so much.
That
Looking
would
forward
be an
to-
absolute shocker.
Looking forward to hearing the show tonight, guys. Thanks so much.
Double singer.
Alex Strofe, Pablo Iglesias coming up next. Great Dane in Fitchburg. That'll do it for Rutledge and Hamilton today. No show each of the next 2 days. Extended Kyle Brust and Nortman 2 to 5, and then Thanalysis from 5 to 6. Your chance to hear the Thanasis Antetokounmpo podcast. We'll be back Thursday on Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. Good luck, Matt Hamilton.
See ya.
Step into nostalgia with the Miller High Life Dive Bar of the Week. Listen to Rutledge and Hamilton every Thursday, and we will let you know where you can enjoy $2 Miller High Lifes. To celebrate our love for dive bars, me and Matt are going to tell you about some of our favorites, featuring one